So, so today I am making apricot syrup jam. Depends on consistency. Probably more jam than syrup. This is what I'm doing. So this here is actually cilantro Herbsweetner, and this is the base. This basically is cane syrup in a very thick cilantro tea, and I'm using that as the base for the syrup jam. So I'm using a quart worth of the syrup, okay, in with a pot. And basically I'm going to be cooking this initially on kind of a high heat. Once it gets to boil, I'm going to turn it down to a medium heat and then just cover and let this cook for a while, stirring periodically. So basically what's happening now is all this great cilantro syrup, Herbsweetner, is permeating into the fruit. And I'm going to also add a little cinnamon and other things later on. Every one of these guys are also going to get planted around the garden where I want trees to grow. And maybe we'll have our own apricot trees growing. Now these were pollinated by the bees that are really close to this tree. But let's go out there and I'll show you where I got them. I'm here at Foundups House in Silicon Valley. And Foundups House is a sustainable living startup, which I call a Foundup. Startups are basically owned by a few. Foundups are potentially owned by the many. And if you want to be a stakeholder and owner of Foundups, simply go to Foundups.com, join our crowdfunding campaign, and guess what? I'm giving you my shares in it. Now, our goal is to launch thousands of Foundup houses. Well, you're probably wondering, what's a Foundup house? Well, it's a sustainable living community that takes the idea of Airbnb, takes the idea of permaculture, takes the idea of fabrication lab, and a hacker house where entrepreneurs come in, pulls it all together as a new widget called a Foundup house. In Foundup houses, we create solutions, we create products, we look for things that we can fix. A lot of these problems are very small, but some of these problems potentially huge. Now, anyone can launch a Foundup house. All they need to do is, number one, become a stakeholder. Stakeholder means you have access to our IP. And number two, become certified, which means come and stay at a Foundup house, one of our official Foundup houses. And if you're interested in setting up an official Foundup house, there's a little bit more stuff so you can actually have the training and everything else to do. That requires being part of the team. It requires a bigger investment and of your, for the access to the fees. But ultimately, the certification program is free for those staying at the house. So we're doing our first certification program in the fall, and ultimately I invite you to be part of it. So here I am at the tree. So this is Alex and Rosa's house, and here's their beautiful apricot tree. And what happens is the birds jump in the tree, and these apricots are all ripe. And what happens is they fall on the ground. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, it's birds flying in the trees that just releasing them as they land. So now the floor is full of apricots that I'm going to pick up. So all the ones that birds have been eating go in there, and I've picked up his yard for him. So then his yard looks nice. There's one more that can go in here. All right, and then here I have a basket, and I'm going to put these into the jam that I'm making. He also has a beautiful plum tree here. Look at all the plums on this tree. And they look like they are a different kind of plum. Well, there are some of them that turn red up there. But these are really nice looking plums that he has there. By 2050, we're going to have to increase our food production by 70%. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, it's simple. By transforming all of these unsustainable suburban homes into sustainable ones. And how we'll do this is very simple, is that one Foundup house will manage a block of homes as far as someone wants to walk and manage. Maybe as we grow, we will, as our name gets out there, we'll even drive with a truck and pick up your fruit. We'll manage your chickens. We'll do all these things. Here's Richard, my friend. Let's go say hi. So, a little shaky camera. But that's Richard right there. He's blowing. We'll make fun of him. You missed a spot down there. Here comes the police. Look what I found. I'm making apricot jam.
Apricot, oh.
From fallen fruits from Alex. Do you know Alex and Rosa?
On the corner up here?
They're the ones. They're the, well, not quite on the corner.
Okay, I know who they are.
They've got the fruit trees in the front. They're like
got that little arbor out there. And that little
yeah,
there,
I've been trying to become friends with them, like I've become friends with you, but it's been very hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're very resistant. They're very. I mean, they're Eastern European, so they just think everyone's out for something, right? You know, some people are that way.
Yeah, I know they are.
They're like, well, what's this guy's game? You know, you probably wonder. Come on, seriously, did you wonder that when you met me? You were like, what's this guy's game?
Of course I did.
He brings over this.
I still wonder.
He brings over this sweetener. He brings over these tomatoes. What's his game? I'm actually making a video right now. You want to say hi? This is Richard.
What's going on?
I don't know. So I'm going back to Japan. I've actually got some exciting news.
Really?
I've landed work.
Oh, no kidding. Work?
I know, me work.
How are you going to handle that?
I don't know. Well, I'm consulting for a production company that's doing a shoot called Killer Hornet Swarm. So it's right up my alley.
Horror movie.
Well, it's on Smithsonian, so I think it's going to be basically showing. They're going to go. It's not going to have any camera presence, but basically showing in greater detail these creatures.
Oh.
So
no camera presence.
No camera presence. I'll be more kind of the safety, probably the setup, the shot setup, all that sort of thing for it. So on that, you know,
So how long how long is that going to take you?
Well, I'm back October, so it's got to happen between June 16th and October 16th.
Okay.
And I'm back here, so on that. But anyway, yeah, I'm making jam. Do you like apricot jam?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring you some. I'm making actually in my my cilantro syrup. Remember that you don't want to take?
No, exactly.
So
if you guys have been a waste.
No. It's a good base. It's a good base for it. It's really good. It'll be good.
All right.
Yeah, it needs a base. So I already made. I'll bring you some over that I made yesterday, and you can. I'll bring that since I got more. I'll bring you some of that on that.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna take off.
All right. Okay.
I got stuff on the cooker. I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you.
So he's really skillful. He's got chickens, and he's like my buddy. We hang out together and do stuff together. He takes me on walks, and we go on walks, and he shows me the neighborhood, and he's been there a long time, so everyone knows him. So I can say I'm Richard's friend. But he came over for the barbecue and other things. So let's get back to cooking. So the goal at a Foundups house is to create good relationships with your neighbors, to help them with their waste that they don't have time to deal with, and to provide them products in return. So I dropped off some jam for them. I give products to Richard in the hopes that as he gets to know you, they will become stakeholders of Foundups and help support the vision of Foundups House. So we're back in the kitchen. You know, one of the mistakes done with the iPad is they have the record button should always be next to where the camera is. So I see a red thing, so I'm talking to the red thing, but the red thing is always opposite. So I need to teach myself, always look opposite to the red thing. So I'm always looking at the camera. So you'll notice sometimes I'm not looking at the camera, so my apologies there. Look at that beauty right there. So I'm gonna add the others and get that cooked. Next, I added the rest of them, and I sprinkled a little cinnamon, just a little layer on top, just to give it that little background cinnamon taste, which I love. Next, basically I cover, and I'm going to cook for, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I'm just going to let it cook for a while. And this is some of the finished product that I'm actually going to send over. Now, this is actually a mixture of plum and apricot, thus the darker color. So here is big pot. And what I'm doing is basically sterilizing the containers that the jam is going to go into. This is a very important step, and you have to sterilize anything that you put a product into. Now, ultimately, the jam that I'm making is for short-term consumption and not for storage. So, you know, it's safe if you just want to put it through a dishwasher and everything else. But I go the extra mile and actually, you know, basically sterilize all the stuff. And at the same time, I'm letting the jam cool over there. So, and I'm actually going to start mixing it up. And I'm going to add a little bit of apple mint to it, just to give it, again, a little bit of freshness, a little bit of mintiness to the apricot jam. So here's one of my little little tubs here. I've got everything in this little thing. Everything from oregano, which is about to go to flour. This here is apple mint. So I'm just going to trim it here by just breaking off stems, reaching down and finding stems that I can just break off and put that in there. This helps to keep it down. This oregano is about to flower. It's going to be cool. All this oregano is going into flowering. I could even put a little bit of this in, and you can see here this is actually Mexican oregano. It's really an amazing herb on there. So get this here. So that's good. This is chocolate mint right here. Grab a little bit of chocolate mint. Throw it in there. You can even try, this is one of my favorite. This is like a lemon thyme. There's some lemon thyme. Not that you're going to taste this, but really the main thing here is actually the goodness. Just gently ripping off and taking a little bit from the top without pulling out any of the roots. It breaks off really easy. Let's get these little guys in here. And then I have some more. Here's a nice batch of mint back in here that I can grab here. The mint's growing up really nice here. Cool. While I'm out here, a lot of people say don't let cilantro go to flower. Well, number one, you'll notice bees love cilantro, so I completely disagree. Number two, here's super cilantro. These early seeds right here, which you can't buy in the store, are amazing. They're the best part of cilantro. They have a different name, like coriander. I think they call it coriander. But these are, you can eat these. Are crunchy and they're great for putting into your food. One of my favorite tools in the kitchen is this salad tosser, and it's great for rinsing out. You can basically pull this out, use this as your rinser, right, in the sink. Cold water, rinse this off, put out in pieces. You don't obviously don't want that in your jam, right? So rinse it all off. Then you put it in here, put on the top, and get all the water off. I love this thing. And to give you how much idea of how much water you get out of this thing is significant. So you can see all the water. Look at that water all up right there. Okay, now the part you've been waiting for, making the jam. Now, basically what I'm going to do is ladle this into the Vitamix. You really need to get a Vitamix. I hate to, pimp a company, but Vitamix blenders are the best. They're expensive, and you can probably pick one up cheaper on Craigslist and other places, but keep an eye open for one. They're definitely a must-have in any kitchen. And what you're going to simply do is ladle the jam into the Vitamix. It's cooled down quite a bit. It's still pretty hot. And you'll notice something from my cooking, I never do any measurements or anything else, so it's purely by intuition, feel. I look at cooking kind of like an art form. where if you're going to go by, it's not a science. Some people say cooking is a science. I say it's an art form, because ultimately I think that that every time you eat something, it should be different. Who wants to eat the same thing all the time? And that not following a recipe ensures that basically that happens.